Hey everyone, going to be recording a trade recap that I took actually on Tuesday. I'm recording this a day late, just didn't get around to last night. So this was for a credit spread I played on SPX on Tuesday morning. So what happened Tuesday mornings, we had a huge gap up after Monday being very bullish. We gapped up, we had a strong push right out the gate. I usually don't trade till 10 a.m., but I was seeing here, okay, we have a strong push. So what I was looking for was to see if we could get some of the floors to roll up, right? Since Monday had been very bullish, Tuesday looked like it was a continuation, right? Especially after overnight pushing up as well. So I was looking for, okay, what kind of pullback can I look for and get a continuation upwards, right? So as price pushed up around 940, 945, right when we're sitting up here at this little peak, I went ahead checking out the heat maps and I'm noticing a few things, right? I'm noticing, okay, if we get a pullback, we have 6915 here as a floor. We have obviously SPY is holding these two positive nodes, 689, 690, as well as this negative stack up here, right? Where it's, okay, if we do get a bounce, we can probably get a pretty nice rip through these negative nodes, right? And also I'm looking at 621 and 620 on QQQ, right? Now, combined with that, we had very little downside volume, right? So QQQ has almost nothing. SPY is the only one that has some volume down here. And we had a lot of upside, right? So again, SPX has a ton of volume stacked up here. QQQ has this negative node here. And again, the reverse rug pull is definitely present on SPY. So yeah, my logic, that was sort of my thesis was, okay, if we manage to get a pullback to 6915, we already have these floors here on SPY. And then QQQ, if we can just approach 621 a little bit, right? Because at the moment we were, like a good dollar above it. So that's what I was looking for, right? And then as you can see, right, price retraced. So we hit to like around 6918 on SPX, SPY. Oh, my converter levels are showing a bit off, but we were hitting the 689, 690 region. And then QQQ, we're looking at, 621.5. So what we had here, right, was QQQ was on the top end of this floor. SPY was just in the middle of this stack here, and SPX was almost tapping this floor here, right? So due to that, and let me skip forward, right? So when we look at 10 a.m., which is when I took my entry, we're seeing 6915 still carrying a bit of volume here, about one third of the king node. We have a ton of volume upside on SPX. SPY, a bit of the volume had rolled down, but we're still holding this volume here at 689 and 690. And we still have the 691. So this reverse rug pull is still there. And QQQ, these floors are still looking extremely strong, right? And we have very little volume actually increasing below price on SPX and QQQ. Obviously, SPY, we got a bit of growth here on the 687, 686. But overall, I was liking that thesis there. I was had a bit of bullish bias just due to the strength of the market the past few days. So I said, okay, I went ahead and sold a 6965, or sorry, 6865 and sorry, I sold the 6875 and I bought back the 6865 on SPX. Now, my reason for selecting those strikes is SPX and QQ had very little downside volume. So I'm still pairing this, I'm still playing a reversal here. So this equally could have been just a normal call entry or a debit spread, a bull debit spread. Um, but I went ahead and sold put credit spread. Now, the reason I selected my sell leg all the way down at 6875 was because of this stack on SPY. So often when I'm trading spreads with Heatseeker, I'll still look at like what is our worst case scenario. So say price would have fell through this floor, right? And we sort of grind down. There's a potential that I basically essentially look for what legs would still be safe, based on what is the worst node at the time. So at the time, I was looking around 685 as like our worst case scenario. If you look down here, 685 correlates to 6875. It's a little bit below. So that's exactly where I sold. This was my sell leg. So I was saying, okay, worst case scenario, we grind through these three nodes here. But even then, it's very unlikely we do just because these positive stacks tend to hold quite well, right? So even if we push through them, we generally don't go all the way through. So that was my reasoning for the legs I selected. But obviously, right after 10 a.m., we just got a huge rip and price just pushed throughout the rest of the day. So this ended up being like basically no drawdown. Regardless of which way I would have traded this was essentially no drawdown on this trade. So yeah, hopefully this is a good example of a good continuation trade on a trend day, right? So it's important. We're still looking for these pullbacks. Some are larger than others. So this was actually quite a small pullback. But if you see those floors roll up, or if you see that they're already present, then a lot of times you can still, these are going to be the best place to take on trend days, right? Because the other option is you're going to have to scalp some of these small moves to the downside, which is still viable, right? But on these, you really have to be taking profits pretty sharply, like 30%, 50% max probably. And your timing is going to have to be really spot on. Otherwise, you're going to get burned on some of these. If your timing's a little bit off, their trend days are very unforgiving, right? For playing any reversals. So you can do so, or the other strategy would be, okay, wait for any kind of pullback, see if we've had any floors roll up with price. If you see any kind of support resistance flips going on, and then go ahead and take that continuation play. But I mean, it's still a reversal, but at the same time, it's with the trend instead of against it. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful, and I'll try to post another recap video by end of the week. Thanks.